Ever wondered how much a GDPR violation could cost a company, or how enforcement agencies determine penalties? Now hold that thought. We're about to embark on a journey to explore the enforcement and penalties associated with the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR. You see, the stakes are high. Missteps can lead to substantial administrative fines, and these fines are not arbitrary. They're influenced by a number of factors, such as the gravity and duration of the violation, the number of data subjects affected, and even the level of cooperation with supervisory authorities. Understanding these dynamics is paramount. It's not just about avoiding financial penalties, it's about fostering a culture of data protection and privacy in your organization. Knowing the potential consequences of non-compliance is crucial, but let's delve deeper into real-world examples to gain better insights. So, are you ready to dive in? Case studies, they're not just academic exercises, they offer a wealth of practical insights. Case studies provide us with a unique opportunity to understand the complex terrain of GDPR implementation. They reveal the diverse challenges organizations face, from aligning data protection policies across regions to managing consent for marketing activities. But that's not all. Case studies and theoretical examples also highlight effective strategies and common pitfalls. They showcase how organizations, large and small, have navigated the GDPR landscape, adopting measures such as binding corporate rules, centralized data processing controls, and extensive employee training programs. They underscore the importance of leadership buy-in and the need for continuous monitoring and adaptation of data protection measures. Now let's explore some fascinating case studies that reflect the diverse challenges organizations face in achieving GDPR compliance. Imagine a global company with operations across multiple jurisdictions. Sounds challenging, right? Now picture the task of aligning data protection policies with GDPR across all these regions. That's the reality for many large multinational corporations today. Our first case study takes us to such a fictional corporation, Multicorp Limited, a behemoth in its industry with a presence in numerous countries, each with its own set of data protection laws. The challenge? To harmonize its data protection policies with GDPR, ensuring compliance across the board. A daunting task indeed. But here's where it gets interesting. To navigate this complex landscape, the Multicorp Limited turned to a tool known as Binding Corporate Rules, or BCRs. These are data protection policies approved by European data protection authorities, allowing multinational corporations to transfer personal data internationally within their group of companies. In addition to implementing BCRs, the corporation centralized its data processing controls. This meant streamlining data management, creating uniformity, and making it easier to monitor and enforce GDPR compliance across the company. But they didn't stop there. They also introduced extensive employee training programs, recognizing that GDPR compliance is not just a matter of systems and processes, but also of people and culture. So, what was the outcome of all these efforts? The company successfully enhanced its data protection framework and significantly reduced its risk of non-compliance. This didn't just save them from potentially hefty fines, but also bolstered their reputation as a trustworthy organization that respects personal data rights. This case illustrates how even global companies can align their data protection policies with GDPR through strategic measures. The journey may be complex, filled with unique challenges, but with the right tools, commitment, and a comprehensive approach, it is indeed possible. So next time you think of GDPR compliance as a mountain too high to climb, remember this multinational corporation and their successful journey to compliance. Let's now turn our attention to a smaller player in the market, a typical online retailer, Small Mid-Lot. This small to medium-sized enterprise, or SME, operates within a tight budget and resources, but it's no less committed to GDPR compliance. The SME's primary GDPR challenge lay in managing consent for marketing activities while ensuring respect for data subjects' rights. They needed to balance the need to reach their customers with personalized offers and promotions, while also respecting their customers' privacy and their right to control the use of their personal data. To tackle this challenge, the SME developed a user-friendly consent management platform. This platform allowed customers to easily give, review, and withdraw their consent at any time. It was designed with privacy in mind, ensuring that customers' choices were respected and their data was used responsibly. In addition to this, The SME incorporated privacy by design into their product development processes. This meant that data protection considerations were integrated from the very beginning of the design process, rather than being added as an afterthought. It's an approach that not only helps ensure GDPR compliance, but also builds trust with customers. The SME also implemented targeted GDPR training for staff. By educating their team on the importance of data protection and the principles of the GDPR, they were able to foster a culture of privacy and ensure that everyone understood their responsibilities. The outcome of these solutions was twofold. First, they improved customer trust. Customers knew that their data was being handled responsibly and that they had control over its use. Second, they ensured compliance with GDPR consent requirements, reducing the risk of regulatory action and fines. This SME shows us that with the right approach, even limited resources can be effectively utilized to ensure GDPR compliance. Public sector organizations have their unique set of challenges. Let's delve into one such case. Picture a government agency entrusted with the task of handling sensitive personal data. It's not a hypothetical scenario, but a real-life situation many public entities grapple with regularly. The challenge here was ensuring transparency and public accountability in data processing. The public sector, unlike private corporations, operates under the watchful eye of the public, making it essential to uphold transparency in its operations. This transparency extends to the processing of personal data under GDPR. However, achieving this transparency is not as straightforward as it might seem. The agency had to balance the need for public accountability with the rights of individuals whose data they held. This delicate balancing act is a common challenge among public sector organizations. The solution involved implementing data protection impact assessments, or DPIAs, which are public in nature. These assessments provide a detailed explanation of the data processing activities, the risks involved, and the measures taken to mitigate these risks. By making DPIAs public, the agency could demonstrate its commitment to transparency, but the agency didn't stop there. It also engaged with stakeholders, including the public, to refine its data protection practices. This engagement not only helped improve their practices, but also strengthened public trust in the agency. Finally, the agency put in place a robust data breach notification process. This process ensures that in the event of a data breach, the affected individuals and the relevant authorities are notified promptly, further enhancing transparency and accountability. The outcome of these efforts was a strengthened public trust and compliance with GDPR transparency obligations. The agency was not only able to meet its GDPR requirements, but also build a stronger relationship with the public it serves. This case underlines the importance of transparency and public accountability in data processing under GDPR. Healthcare providers handle some of the most sensitive personal data. Let's see how one such institution tackled GDPR. In the realm of healthcare, organizations process special categories of personal data, handling everything from patient histories to genetic information. This sensitive data has the potential to be misused, leading to devastating consequences for both the patient and the healthcare provider. A key challenge for these providers, then, is ensuring that this data remains secure and that patient consent is effectively managed. One healthcare institution, aware of these risks, made the decision to overhaul its data protection strategies in line with GDPR regulations. The institution recognized that, given the sensitive nature of the data they handle, a breach could have far-reaching implications. The challenge they faced was twofold: to secure the sensitive health data they held and to manage patient consent effectively. To address these challenges, the institution adopted advanced encryption technologies to protect patient data. They implemented strict access controls, ensuring that only authorized personnel had access to sensitive information. This not only helped to secure the data, but also provided a clear audit trail of who had accessed what and when. To manage patient consent, the institution developed patient data access portals. These portals gave patients the ability to control who could access their information and for what purpose. Patients could easily give or withdraw consent, providing them with greater control over their personal data. The outcome of these measures was an enhanced data security framework that not only complied with GDPR regulations, but also improved patient trust. The institution's commitment to data protection was clear, and patients felt more secure knowing their information was being handled responsibly. Moreover, the streamlined consent management processes allowed for more efficient operations. The institution was able to ensure that patient consent was always up to date and compliant with GDPR requirements, reducing the risk of non-compliance and potential penalties. This case demonstrates how healthcare providers can secure sensitive data and manage patient consent under GDPR. Having explored these case studies, what common threads can we discern? Let's take a moment to reflect on the lessons learned from these diverse organizations. Each entity, regardless of its size or sector, faced unique challenges in their journey towards GDPR compliance, yet they all shared some common elements. Firstly, the leadership's buy-in was instrumental in each case. GDPR compliance isn't just a legal or IT issue, it's a business-wide responsibility. Leaders who understood this were able to rally their teams around a shared goal, fostering a culture of data protection that permeated every level of their organization. Secondly, each organization tailored their GDPR compliance strategy to their specific needs and risks. The multinational corporation, with its complex cross-border data flows, implemented binding corporate rules. The small online retailer, on the other hand, focused on consent management for their marketing activities. The public sector organization prioritized transparency, while the healthcare provider emphasized the security of sensitive health data. There's no one-size-fits-all solution to GDPR compliance. Each organization must assess its own risks and develop a strategy that fits its unique circumstances. Lastly, continuous monitoring and adaptation were key to maintaining compliance. GDPR is not a one-time project, but a continuous process. Regulations evolve, as do technologies and business practices. Hence, it's crucial to keep reviewing and updating your data protection measures to ensure ongoing compliance. The case studies also highlighted the importance of employee training, engagement with data protection authorities, and the use of technology to facilitate compliance. These are best practices that any organization, regardless of its size or sector, can adopt. In conclusion, these case studies demonstrate that GDPR compliance is a complex, ongoing process that requires a comprehensive, tailored approach. It's about more than just ticking boxes. It's about embedding a culture of data protection within your organization. Learning from these cases can help organizations navigate their own GDPR compliance journey. Every organization faces challenges in GDPR compliance, but there are ways to overcome them. For organizations strained by limited resources, the journey to GDPR compliance might seem steep. However, strategic planning and prioritizing can ease this journey. Start by identifying the most critical data protection needs and address them first. Outsourcing certain tasks like data protection officer services or investing in automated compliance tools can also be viable solutions. Remember, GDPR compliance isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. Balancing innovation with privacy is another common challenge. In the era of big data and AI, innovation often requires large amounts of personal data, but GDPR mandates privacy. So how do we balance the two? By embracing privacy by design. This concept encourages organizations to consider privacy at the initial stages of any project rather than as an afterthought. It's about being proactive, not reactive. And then we have the challenge of international data transfers, especially in the post-Schrems II era. The European Court of Justice invalidated the Privacy Shield framework in the Schrems II case, creating uncertainty around data transfers from the EU to the US. But there are alternatives. Standard contractual clauses and binding corporate rules remain valid mechanisms for data transfers. Also, consider seeking guidance from the data protection authorities and legal experts as the landscape continues to evolve. But one thing remains constant amidst this change: the need for continuous learning and adaptation. The GDPR journey isn't about reaching a destination, it's about staying on the right path. It's about creating a culture of privacy that permeates every level of your organization. Remember, overcoming GDPR challenges involves a combination of strategic thinking, technical solutions, and legal expertise. We've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? Let's take a moment to reflect. From large multinationals to small enterprises, public organizations to healthcare providers, we've seen that GDPR compliance presents unique challenges for every type of organization. Yet, the value of learning from these real-world examples is clear. These case studies underscore the importance of tailoring GDPR strategies to the specific needs and risks of the organization, the critical role of leadership buy-in, and the need for continuous adaptation and monitoring of data protection measures. They also highlight the value of engaging with data protection authorities, investing in employee training, and leveraging technology to facilitate compliance. As we've learned, GDPR implementation is not a one-size-fits-all process, but a complex journey requiring a comprehensive approach.